Welcome to Unknown Facts. Tonight, we're diving into the world's most jaw-dropping construction disasters. Imagine building a skyscraper and realizing you missed a crucial step. Except the stakes are billions of dollars. We're counting down the 10 most expensive construction mistakes ever made. Think buildings that melt cars, bridges that dance, and towers that lean for centuries. These aren't just little errors, they're legendary blunders that change cities forever. So grab your popcorn, get comfy, and let's jump into the wildest fails in engineering history. Ready? Let's get started. Number 10. And what a way to kick off our list of monumental mishaps. An icon of accidental fame, a testament to the fact that sometimes things don't go quite as planned. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, a symbol recognized around the globe not for its architectural brilliance but for its rather noticeable tilt. Built in the 12th century, a time when construction techniques weren't quite as refined as they are today, it was meant to stand tall, a proud bell tower reaching for the sky, not tilt precariously like a drunken sailor. The foundation? Here's where the story gets interesting. Just 3 meters deep, a rather optimistic depth considering what they were building on top, set on soft clay and sand. Not exactly the bedrock you'd hope for when constructing a multi-story tower. By the second story, disaster struck. It started to lean. The ground simply couldn't support the weight, and the tower began its now famous descent into the earth. Construction paused for nearly a century. A wise decision, giving the ground time to settle and perhaps for the builders to rethink their strategy, which actually saved it from collapse. That pause allowed the soil to compress and stabilize, preventing a complete disaster. Later, engineers tried to fix it or at least mitigate the lean by building upper floors, taller on one side in a desperate attempt to compensate for the tilt and bring the center of gravity back to where it should be, giving it that famous curve. A curve that has captivated tourists and engineers alike for centuries. Over centuries, the battle against the lean continued. Millions were spent on desperate fixes, each attempt a gamble against the relentless forces of gravity and geology, adding weights to the north side, removing soil from beneath the north side, and anchoring the base with steel cables. Ironically, its flaw made it a global tourist magnet, drawing millions of visitors each year to witness this architectural anomaly. The Leaning Tower is proof that sometimes a mistake can become your greatest legacy, a symbol of resilience, ingenuity, and the enduring power of human error. It's the ultimate fail so hard you succeed story, a lesson in turning lemons into lemonade, or in this case, a leaning tower into a global icon. A beautiful, expensive, and very, very crooked mistake. A testament to the fact that even the most glaring errors can be embraced and celebrated. And yes, it's still standing. Barely. A constant reminder of the delicate balance between ambition and reality. That's Pisa's billion-dollar blunder. A blunder that continues to pay dividends, attracting tourists and inspiring awe. Let's move on to a modern money pit, where the mistakes are perhaps less charming but equally impactful. Next up, Boston's Big Dig. Number 9. Boston's Big Dig, the most expensive highway project in U.S. history. The plan replaced a traffic-choked elevated highway with underground tunnels. Estimated at $2.8 billion, it ballooned to nearly $24 billion with interest. Delays, leaks, faulty materials, and even a fatal ceiling collapse plagued the project. Headlines chronicled endless setbacks and cost overruns. When it finally opened, traffic improved and parks replaced the old highway. But the Big Dig stands as a warning. Ambition, politics, and engineering can be a costly mix. Billions spent, decades delayed. A lesson in project mismanagement. Now let's see what happens when a skyscraper becomes a solar oven. On to London's Walkie Scorchie. Stay tuned. Coming in at number 8. We're taking a look at London's infamous walkie-talkie skyscraper, a building that unintentionally turned into a high-powered reflector, or, as the locals cheekily started calling it, the Walkie Scorchie. A rather apt nickname, as you'll soon see. Its distinctive curved, all-glass facade inadvertently acted like a giant, perfectly shaped magnifying glass, relentlessly focusing sunlight with incredible intensity onto the unsuspecting street below. And the result? Well, parked cars began to melt before their owners' very eyes. Shop doors blistered and warped under the intense heat. And believe it or not, you could literally fry a perfectly good egg right there on the sidewalk. The now infamous death ray reached scorching temperatures, exceeding over 240 degrees Fahrenheit. And news crews even took advantage of the situation, cooking food on the spot to demonstrate the sheer power of the sun's reflection. Understandably, developers scrambled to find a solution, quickly installing giant, strategically angled metal fins to effectively diffuse the concentrated sunlight and mitigate the scorching effect. The emergency fix cost millions of dollars, and the incident quickly became a global punchline, a cautionary tale in architectural design. So, lesson learned, maybe don't point a giant reflective mirror directly at your city. Because sometimes, even the coolest design can turn dangerously, unexpectedly hot. From melting cars in the heart of London, to a bridge that quite literally danced itself to a catastrophic death. Let's pack our bags and head across the pond to Washington State. Next up, the infamous Galloping Gertie. And trust me, you won't want to blink. This one's going to be wild. Number 7. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge, aka Galloping Gertie. Opened in 1940, it was sleek but dangerously slender. Solid plate girders made it aerodynamic, in the worst way. Even light winds made the bridge ripple and sway, drawing thrill seekers. On November 7, 1940, a 40th wind triggered violent twisting. The bridge buckled, twisted, and collapsed spectacularly, caught on film. Miraculously, no people died, but the disaster cost millions. Its legacy? It revolutionized bridge engineering, making wind tunnel testing standard. Sometimes failure is the best teacher. Now let's fly to Germany for an airport that couldn't open. Berlin's billion-euro embarrassment is next. Don't miss it. Number 6. Berlin Brandenburg Airport, a modern marvel of failure. Construction began in 2006 with a grand opening set for 2011. Weeks before launch, everything unraveled. The fire safety system was a disaster, and defects piled up. Delays stretched nearly a decade. Equipment became obsolete before opening. Costs soared from 2 billion euros to over 7 billion euros. Ghost trains ran daily to ventilate empty tunnels. The airport finally opened in 2020, 9 years late. It's a cautionary tale of over-engineering, poor oversight, and endless delays. Efficiency? Not this time. Now let's go to Shanghai, where a building didn't just lean, it toppled. The Lotus Riverside collapse is next. You won't believe what caused it. Let's go. Number 5. Shanghai's Lotus Riverside, where a 13-story building fell over like a domino. No earthquake, no explosion, just catastrophic construction mistakes. Workers dug a deep garage on one side, piling the excavated dirt on the other. Heavy rain turned the soil to mud, creating massive pressure imbalance. The foundation snapped and the building toppled, almost intact. One worker died, but the real shock was how easily it happened. Developers refunded buyers and demolished the wreck. It's a cartoonish yet costly lesson in basic engineering. Next, a New York skyscraper nearly brought down by a hidden flaw, and saved by a student. The Citicorp Center story is up next. This one's a nail-biter, stay tuned. Number 4, New York Citicorp Center, almost doomed by a hidden design flaw. Built on stilts to accommodate a church, it relied on bolted joints instead of welded ones. An engineering student discovered the building was vulnerable to quartering winds. The chief engineer secretly led a race against time, reinforcing 200 joints with steel plates, at night without public knowledge. Disaster was averted, and the story stayed secret for decades. It's a reminder. Sometimes one question can save thousands of lives. Now, a tragedy in Seoul where greed and shortcuts led to catastrophe. The Sampoong department store collapses next. This one's sobering. Let's dive in. Number 3. Seoul's Sampoong department store. A tragedy fueled by greed and corruption. Originally designed as apartments, it was converted mid-build into a department store. Columns cut, a 5th floor added, and heavy restaurants installed. Massive air conditioners dragged across the roof cracked key supports. Cracks appeared, but management ignored warnings to avoid lost revenue. On June 29, 1995, the building collapsed in seconds, killing over 500 and injuring 900. Investigations revealed bribery and ignored safety at every turn. The cost, hundreds of lives and millions lost. It's a haunting lesson in the price of cutting corners. Now to San Francisco, where a luxury tower is sinking into the mud. The Millennium Tower is next. Don't look down. Number 2, San Francisco's Millennium Tower, a luxury high-rise with a sinking problem. Built on soft soil, its foundation piles stopped short of bedrock. By 2016, it had sunk 16 inches and was tilting. Lawsuits flew as developers and city officials blamed each other. Homeowners faced plummeting property values and safety fears. The fix? Drill 52 new piles to bedrock, a $100 million rescue. It's a costly reminder. Skyscrapers need solid foundations. Now, for our number one mistake, a Las Vegas hotel that tried to cook its guests. The Vdara Death Ray is up next. This one's hot, literally. Let's check it out. You won't believe it. Let's kick things off with number one. We're heading to Las Vegas, Nevada, to take a look at the Vdara Hotel, a place where luxury met, well, something unexpected, a rather scorching design flaw that became quite the hot topic. The issue? Its elegantly curved glass facade. It had the unfortunate tendency to focus sunlight. And where did that concentrated beam land? Right onto the pool deck, essentially creating what many dubbed a death ray. It was an architectural hazard. Hotel guests reported some rather unpleasant effects, like melting cups left unattended, or even singed hair, which is definitely not the souvenir you want from Vegas. And of course, blistering heat that made lounging by the pool unbearable. Initially, the hotel tried umbrellas as a quick fix, but the beam, ever persistent, just moved to a new location. So, what was the ultimate solution? They had to apply a special film to literally thousands of glass panels across the entire facade. It was an incredibly expensive fix, to say the least. But the legend of the Vdara Death Ray, as it became known, still lives on in Vegas lore. It's a perfect Vegas tale. Glamorous, wild, and just a little bit dangerous. That wraps up this countdown. We've explored some of the world's most expensive construction mistakes. From the iconic leaning towers all the way to buildings that literally melt cars, these blunders have significantly changed the way we approach building and design today. But our journey isn't quite over yet. Let's wrap things up with a final thought. Thanks so much for sticking with us throughout this exploration. Just one last word before you head off. Always stay curious about the world around you. And that's our show. From leaning towers to sinking skyscrapers, these stories prove that even the boldest plans can go spectacularly wrong. Thanks for joining us at Unknown Facts. If you enjoyed the ride, hit like and subscribe for more wild stories. These mistakes are more than expensive. They're lessons in engineering, hubris, and creativity. We've got plenty more to share, so don't miss out. Thanks again for watching. Stay curious.